Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast kit. I'm Joey.
I'm Bree.
I'm Rachel.
And this is SoCal Slaughters. This is our part 2 of our season finale episode.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back
Yeah.
to this sordid tale.
Yeah. Very sorted.
Sorted into crazy and crazier.
Well, it's going to get a little bit crazier yet.
I can't wait.
I'm going to pretty much jump right into it. I hope that if you have not watched or listened to part 1, that you go back and that you get caught up. But
You won't be disappointed.
yeah, definitely not. But it's going to get into some meaty action here.
You might get disappointed in humanity.
Yeah.
Correct.
but
Well, yeah.
Not
don't we
not in
always?
the content, though.
Okay. So back into Betty Broderick. At this point, we're at February of 1986. We had already established the fact that the marriage between Betty and Dan is over. The divorce has been filed and has already begun. The affair with Linda is no longer a secret, right? And Betty Broderick has just driven her vehicle directly into the home where Dan is building a new life without her, right? So a neighbor called the police and Betty was arrested. When police questioned Dan about what happened, they questioned him about her mental state.
Obviously.
And Dan was like, yeah, I'm absolutely concerned about her mental state. I feel like she's had mental problems for a while. So as a result, Betty was transported in a straitjacket to Claremont, which is a county mental health facility, for a 72-hour hold. Okay?
A straitjacket sounds awful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
like in
but
front of your daughters, she's
you
getting
almost
straitjacketed.
you could have just killed, though.
Yeah.
Just,
For sure.
you know what?
Yeah.
Tie her up.
So after a couple of days, it's a 72-hour hold, right? So after just 2 days, the doctors determined that she could be released.
Okay.
Okay. But Betty refused to sign the paperwork to release her. In fact, she refused treatment there altogether. So they didn't decide that she could be released because she's fine, she's good, she's healthy, she's ready to rock. They said that she could leave because they can't do anything with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to talk to you. She refused counseling, she refused any care, and she even refused her meals. Okay?
I mean, it's hospital food, so I kind of get it.
But what are they going to we're going to keep her here
Yeah.
another day for her to not do anything, you
Yeah.
know? So obviously at that point they were like, get out. But again, mini speculation of Joey. I think that she wanted to stay for the 72-hour hold because I think that it's a better story for her to tell when she gets out.
Sure, I could see that.
She is determined to make him look like the bad guy. And a story of her saying, I had to stay there for 3 days on a 72-hour hold.
Yeah.
And they took me away in a straitjacket because Dan called the police and had me sent to an insane asylum is worse than the police thought that I was maybe going through something because I ran my car into his front door. And they thought I should take a little mental health break, and I got released a day early. That doesn't sound too bad on Dan,
No.
So I don't know. Again,
I don't know how you spin that. That is a spin.
yeah.
To not have it be
She
on
was
you.
into that. That was what she did. She did it, and
crazy.
she did it on purpose. She had a history of doing things like this on purpose to try to make him look bad. So obviously she was discharged after the 72 hours and resumed war. So now we're in springtime of 1986. Okay. By now, Dan and Linda's relationship was public knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Betty had stopped using their names altogether. Like those, they don't have names anymore. Linda became The C word.
The see you next Tuesday?
Yes. I mean, out of all the words we use, I think that's the one we can't. Like, for
Yeah.
real, for sure.
Yeah.
You can't?
I don't think so.
You
Can't. And then Dan became the asshole.
Okay.
And the divorce was all she talked about. To friends, to family, to freaking strangers,
Yeah, I could see this.
and unfortunately to her children. Everything eventually came back to Dan and Linda.
Of course.
This was also the period when Dan installed an answering machine. Okay, this is like new hot tech on the scene.
It really was.
Yeah.
Oh my
When we got
gosh.
our first answering machine.
Yeah.
Oh, doing the outgoing message?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, we lived for that in
Yeah.
my house.
And like he has to have the best of everything. He has all the new stuff, the new whatever. He's on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So answering machine arrives, installed, ready to rock and roll, right? And it's like that's a very practical decision to get, but it actually became one of the most important pieces of evidence in the entire case.
Really?
Yeah. Betty called this answering machine constantly.
Is the restraining order still in effect?
Yeah. Yeah. So constantly calling this answering machine. The messages became threatening, profane. She loved curse words. I mean, that was her jam. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes they were incoherent.
Okay, like she's just drunk.
Yeah. Or just like
On
not even
pills.
drunk. Yeah. Just like, I don't even know what she's doing.
Manic.
But like becoming really frightening,
Yeah.
you know? And so Dan recorded them all.
Of course.
Her children begged her to stop doing it. Dan's attorneys asked her to stop doing it. And eventually, judges ordered her to stop doing it. But nothing worked.
Oh my god.
And then things got even worse.
What?
Because suddenly, Linda's voice became the outgoing greeting on the machine.
Oh shit.
Linda didn't even live there. Okay. So
Was this strictly to piss her off?
I mean-
Linda's peeing on her territory.
literally, like, Betty felt like this was taunting.
It really was.
100%.
It's like the guys that write alimony checks to their ex-wives, and it's a picture of them and their new
Yeah.
wives.
Exactly.
Like, it's so next level petty.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they want her to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't want her
That's
to stop.
not gonna
This
make her
is
stop. That's just gonna piss her
This
off.
is toxic.
Right. Yeah. Pretty bad. Yeah. She thinks this is just to full on like humiliate her. And so the messages just completely intensify here.
Yeah.
Dan eventually drafted a legal agreement imposing financial penalties for every message that she left.
Wow.
But the calls continued anyway.
Change your number and don't give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
What problem fucking solved? Same thing with that one fucking mom. I can't. Ugh, I can't.
Well, let's listen to a couple of these messages.
Oh,
okay.
so juicy. Let's go.
All right. Bear with us. All right. Ready?
I have the day off and I would really like to use the boat, my boat. How do I get the keys? Where are the keys? Will you make another set and deliver them over here so that when I want to use the boat I can use it? Thanks, sweetie. That's what Lulu told me, you're afraid of me. You better damn well be afraid of me. You keep pulling shit like this. Better pay this insurance bill now, or you're going to be damn afraid of me. I actually love this machine because then I can really just say anything I want. Tell the kids that you don't think it's wrong that you're schooling the cunts in the hall that has their legs wide open for anybody who comes by. And you're paid for it? God, you got a sense of humor. I love it. Stop schooling the cunts long enough to return my calls. Left messages on the machine, with the maid, with the secretary, etc., etc. I have very important things to ask you. You're making me mad. I'll kill you. But this is Mommy. I'm out of the shower now. today about staying with me or staying with the cunt sucker.
So that last one
Uh-huh.
was to her son, Rhett.
Yo.
What?
Exactly.
Such language to your son.
Yeah. So this was a normal thing. Like, was, her calling for the boys and leaving them messages very similar to that and talking about Dan and Linda and referring to them in their names. So, yeah, this was a big deal. And that's only a few. I mean, there's hundreds.
Wow.
Again, why didn't they just change their phone number?
I
Tell me, Joey.
This is his. I mean, he's a businessman. I don't know. Maybe he
That's
had
true.
some kind. He
No,
had.
no. You give out the number
Yeah.
again. I don't know.
I don't know the guy. Again, I don't know the guy, but ultimately, yeah. I mean, that would have been a very good way to keep that from happening any longer. But regardless, the fine system came into play.
Uh-huh.
Every time that she left a message, she would get fined.
Do you know how much?
There's speculation.
Okay.
But there's not a definitive amount. But that won't be the only thing that gets fined as things progress here. So
But where is she getting this money? This is all
it's from the money that he gives her. So it's getting docked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in the summer of 1986, after the battle over the Coral Reef House, Dan Jaffe quit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Betty once again found herself without legal representation. And unable to secure another attorney, she frequently just failed to appear in court.
Smart.
Okay, she thought that if she didn't have a lawyer and she didn't show up, that nothing would happen.
That's not
What?
how it
That's
works.
Yeah.
so not how it works.
You're the wife of a lawyer.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I don't get it. Anyways, the consequences were devastating. I'm going to give you a little legalese, if you will. Okay. California law allows something called bifurcation.
Yep.
Okay. Bifurcation is a legal process that allows a marriage to be terminated before every issue involving property, support, and custody has been resolved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that for extreme cases?
Yeah, I mean, she's not showing up. She has
Yeah.
she can't fight for herself. She can't oppose it, So Dan and his lawyers pushed for this,
Yeah.
and the divorce became official.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though, of course, many of the battles were still ongoing. And meanwhile, Betty continued violating restraining orders. So continuing the messages, continuing confrontations, continuing acts of vandalism, now on his home. And Dan responded by creating a even more finite fine system. Every insult had a cost.
Wow.
Every violation of the restraining order had a cost. Every trespass had an even greater cost.
How is that possible? He can't be the one that decides these
So
things.
in normal, this is very unheard of. It
Yeah.
is very rare.
No.
For the court system to allow for an actual, one of the two people in the divorce to draw up an agreement like this.
Yeah.
But Dan was Dan, so it's a boys club at
Yeah,
this point.
it really is.
So the money would simply be deducted from her monthly support payments. So now we're in fall of 1986. And by this point, every single month she's been obviously violating these. So she's had a lot of money being deducted from her monthly support payments. And this time around, she had accumulated so many penalties that she exhausted her entire allowance, and she actually owed Dan money.
Do we know what her allowance was?
Not at this moment in time, we
Okay.
don't. But she got the letter, with the bill.
That's funny.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
messed up.
So she flips out,
Yeah.
And she goes to Dan's house, which is like, okay, here's a check that you owe me for money from violating the restraining order and the trespassing orders that I have against you. But let me trespass.
Yeah.
And come over and like talk to you and completely like do exactly what you are finding me for doing.
Yeah.
And this is the day that happened to be the same day as the Blackstone Ball. So the Blackstone Ball was like this like hoity-toity, legal,
Banquet?
like, but yeah, ball. Okay. Like it's a ball. It's a gala.
Right.
Yeah. So she goes over there and he's like getting ready. So he's like in his tux. Yeah. Like getting all dolled up and stuff. So that makes her even more mad because he's attending the Blackstone Ball that she attended with him previously.
Yeah.
And this year she's not going and he's obviously taking Linda,
Yeah.
Linda's not there, but he's taking her. So she demanded a confrontation with him in his tux, refused to leave. So Dan had to enforce the restraining order and have her arrested.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So at this point, again, we're going to do a little bit more. It's like a medium-sized Joey speculates wildly for this one. For her phone call, her one phone call when she got to jail,
Oh my God.
she contacted her friend Gail Forbes. Okay.
I thought you were gonna say she contacted him.
No, so this confrontation, like it seems like she forced a confrontation here and she forced the arrest. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then she goes and she makes her one phone call to this friend Gail Forbes, right? And what she tells Gail, she instructs her to call the newspapers and tell them that Dan Broderick, the president of the Bar Association, had just had his wife arrested before attending the Blackstone Ball with the office C-word. This divorce is no longer private.
They're going to make headlines with that.
That's what she wants. She wants to flip the narrative here, So the divorce is no longer private at this point, and it's like now it's theater. So it's 1987, and at this point,
a good year.
Yeah.
at this point, finally Betty obtained new legal representation. So now the courtroom war can keep going. But she still had no court-ordered visitation with the children.
Okay.
In March of 1987, both sides finally agreed to meet with a mediator, Dr. Ruth Roth. Okay? Yeah. The hope here was to create a custody arrangement, like a legal custody arrangement, But instead, poor Dr. Ruth, she encountered something, or Dr. Roth, Ruth Roth, whatever,
Ruth Roth.
you know what I mean. She encountered something unexpected. Whenever discussions turned toward the children, which was the point, Betty redirected the conversation toward Dan and Linda.
Cool.
Yeah. So Dr. Ruth would testify that Betty made statements like this, quote, "I'm not going to be the single parent of 4 kids. He will die first." And, quote, "The less I hear from them or see them, the better. No bother, no kids."
What?
Yeah. So
Wow.
Dr. Roth later concluded that, like, Betty didn't just simply want the children.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
She wanted everything.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted the marriage back, the house back, the family back, the life back, or she didn't want the children at all.
So it's all or nothing.
Yes.
How could she want a marriage back with this guy? She hates him. So just say Linda was like, "I'm done with this situation. I don't want to be with you." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "You know what? Give me another chance. You're going to take this fool back?"
Again, I refer back to even if he gave me $1 million,
Yeah.
it's not about that. It's about the principle. It's not about anything else here. It's about her getting what she feels she's owed.
She's owed a padded room.
Well,
Yeah.
At one point, Betty talked about Dan and said, quote, "The little fucker was mine and he will stay mine."
Ew.
What?
Yeah. Dr. Roth would testify that Betty was the angriest person she had ever encountered. So the mediation obviously failed, and no custody agreement was reached here.
I would hope that the custody agreement is let's keep her as far away from these kids as possible.
I don't understand how more people didn't like see that and think
and
that.
step in.
Yeah. So May of 1987, the answering machine messages finally caught up with her. Okay.
Good.
Betty was sentenced to 21 days in jail for harassment.
Okay.
But the judge also ordered Linda's voice be removed from the answering machine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But even as these legal battles intensified, there's another painful pattern that emerged here having to do with the failed custody mediation. Okay. Dan repeatedly agreed to allow Betty time with the children and revoked it.
Oh.
Yeah. So there was Easter. She was supposed to go pick the boys up from school early, and like they were supposed to on Friday, and they were supposed to have Easter weekend together. She shows up, and Dan's pulling out with them.
What?
Yeah. There was a Hawaiian vacation that she won a trip from some auction, and she wanted to take the kids to Hawaii. She'd never been to Hawaii. The kids had never been to Hawaii. She was like super excited about it. It was like almost all expenses paid, I think.
Yeah.
And the morning of the flight, he said no, they're not going. And then another Thanksgiving came around. She had all of her relatives in from the East Coast, and the boys were supposed to come over to like see their family. And again, no, they're not coming. And then finally, again, Christmas, they were supposed to go to a party. Like they got invited to a party, and like all the boys' friends and like, you know, buddies were going to be there with their parents. And again, he said they're not coming. And that's the third year in a row that she would not see her children on Christmas. So each cancellation here is like deepening resentment.
Yeah,
and just
of course.
It's chipping away at that brain of hers. So by February 1988, Betty had fired her fourth attorney, and she began representing herself. Yeah.
I get.
Why are they allowed
Yeah.
to do this?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I always think of Ted Bundy representing himself.
I mean, she
But
immediately.
at least he had legal background.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
Like literally.
Still made a ass of himself.
But well, I mean, he was
an
he
ass.
was commended by the judge, to be honest. But I digress.
That's a story for another day.
Yes, it is. So she's not she didn't do very well. You know, she was found guilty on 8 counts of contempt for violating restraining orders.
Only 8?
Yeah. And then in May, she stopped attending mandatory custody hearings altogether, and she wouldn't even read the court documents that were sent to her anymore at all. Like, period.
Well.
So then in December, she demanded a trial. I think at that point in May, when she stopped going, she decided it doesn't matter anymore. I don't care. It doesn't matter if I come to these or not. We're going to trial. I think she decided in May that they were gonna go to trial. So she's like, until it's time for us to like go to trial, I'm not even gonna worry about it. So the date of the trial was set for December 27th, 1988. So right after Christmas.
Okay.
When she wouldn't see him again.
Yes. Still representing herself, by the way. And this is what she wanted. She wanted to go to trial not for this custody hearing. She wanted to go to trial because she was representing herself, and she could call Dan to the witness stand, and she could finally, because he's under oath,
Yeah.
she could make him have to admit everything that had happened, right?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, that's what she went for. That's what she wanted. So for days, she questioned Dan on the witness stand. Not about custody, not about the children, about the marriage and the affair. And like any other old grievances she could freaking pull out.
but wouldn't the judge overrule these
Yeah,
things?
did.
at a certain point. Okay.
He did. Time and time again. She was like getting just completely overruled with relevance, because this isn't about that. And
Yeah.
also, by the way, it's a no-fault marriage now. After 1970, it changed over to no-fault marriage. So an affair has nothing to do anymore
Yeah,
with a divorce.
You can't get a divorce based on
It's not.
infidelity.
There's nothing to do with it.
What?
So no matter what happens here, it doesn't matter. But she always did this because she was like, well, you have to know the whole story to know where I'm at and what I'm doing. And they're like, no, we don't.
No, we
No,
don't. We don't
we
even
don't.
care.
Yeah.
Actually.
So obviously the ruling came down and she was denied custody again. I mean, she can't even talk about the children. All she can talk about is this. It's like, how are you going to get custody of your children when you don't even talk about them? You know?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How much do you actually care?
Right.
Yeah.
So in January of 1989, Betty decided that she was going to go get a job. She wants to like we're going to try another angle here, you know?
Okay.
I'm going to become like the girl that he knew before. You know, I'm going to start working. I'm going to start being this other, you know, woman and become this like person. And then he's going to see me in a new light, right?
Yo, she has just lost it.
Yeah. So then on January 30th, the final financial settlement was announced from the trial. So it was for both. It was for the custody and it was for the financial settlement. So obviously she'd lost on custody already, and the money thing was a disaster in Betty's eyes. Okay. The court ordered her support payments, and she just did not think that they were anywhere near enough, and it was atrocious. It was an atrocity. Okay. Because they only ordered her approximately $16,100 a month.
That is horse shit.
That is nearly $200,000 a year. Okay?
But what is this guy
And this was in 89?
making?
Does it matter at this point? I don't even care. Like,
She
all right,
is the reason why he has
I
all
understand,
of that.
but like at the same time, like this is over. Like, stop. Like, just take the money and fucking run, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
It's
what she went through.
but she's
keeping
still
them
going through it.
afloat.
She's going freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
She is, but I still get it because she kept them afloat
I get it, but that's like,
and keep having my kids.
but that happened already, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I still want.
Yeah.
Still,
I mean, but see,
I
this is
support
the
it.
good thing because this is what happened to America.
Yeah,
okay? This is what happened. Literally, they were just, and to the jury. Okay, so most people would consider it generous.
I'm not saying it's not
Yeah,
generous.
yeah.
I just think.
Yeah, I get
where
it.
She's
Yeah.
coming from.
But Betty did not.
No.
Yeah. But let me just put this into perspective for you really quickly, okay? Betty is still purchasing fur coats. See, she had fur.
Her and Dolly could have their own
Yeah.
attic together.
$10,000 luxury watches, okay?
Dude.
A Jaguar, okay? Taking vacation. She took vacations alone because she didn't have the kids. She took vacations all the time to freaking Tahiti, to freaking Colorado, to the ski lodge, like all the
to
time.
Vail.
Yes, exactly, to Vail. So, like, it didn't feel sufficient to her because she wasn't going to stop this lifestyle.
Yeah. Okay.
And then on top of the fines.
My God, the fine.
My God, the fines. But the reason, again, I go back to, it doesn't matter if you gave me $1 million.
Yeah.
Because this had never been about the money.
Yeah.
It was about Dan having more and Linda getting to share it and not her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Which
And-
she's allowed to be upset about.
Right.
But now
So
she's embarrassing herself.
it's
Oh,
bad.
no,
It's getting really
now?
bad. Like
Now?
it's gotten really bad. It's going to get worse. So February of 1989, okay, Betty hired another attorney to appeal the divorce.
Okay.
Around this time, friends noticed something pretty disturbing. The conversations that they've been having, although had always gone back to Dan, again, with the name. Why can't I never remember his name? Dan and Linda. This time she was talking more seriously about killing Dan and Linda.
So you're supposed to keep those thoughts to yourself.
Right? Friends later testified that they were concerned about this behavior, which obviously who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
But they're like, the divorce was over. The settlement was over. Like
Yeah.
that's where I was at, you know? Things should have been calming down in this at this point, you know, but instead they seem to be escalating. Then a newspaper published a photograph.
Oh no. Can I guess? Can I guess what the photo is?
You want to guess what
or
the
do
photo
you want to
is?
say? Do I want to guess?
I mean,
Was it a marriage announcement for Dan and Linda?
of the photograph of the man kneeling on one knee with a ring, proposing marriage. Yeah,
Okay, so it was an engagement announcement.
that was Dan, and the woman was Linda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So March of 1989, Betty goes by the house to pick up the kids, right? And she's pulling up like she's supposed to do away from the house. But she sees like an envelope or something on the front
Don't touch it. It's
steps.
not yours. That's federal. That's a federal crime.
Yeah. So naturally, she goes on the property, which she's not supposed to do, and picks up this envelope and opens it up and looks inside.
Why not?
Why not? Why wouldn't
It's
you do
for
it?
her.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's absolutely for her. And discovers that it's Linda's wedding guest list. And it was sitting outside because somebody else was supposed to come and pick it up. So she took it.
At the same time that Betty's picking the kids up.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, Linda. Like, seriously, get your
She's
shit
too
together.
excited. But yeah, so she takes it. She took
Yeah.
it home, And according to Betty, it felt like confirmation of everything she's believed coming up to now. I mean, she's just been completely thinking that like all of this the boys club thing, the reason that all of these legal things are happening to her are because of all the ties that Dan has to the legal community.
He's the president of the Bar Association.
Precisely. Not like that she's not showing up in court or anything
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
it has
That doesn't
nothing
have
to do
anything
with
to do with that. But on that wedding guest list were the child psychologists that the boys were seeing who testified against her to lose custody, Dan's accountants who helped him screw her out of what she thought was her fair share, Dan's attorneys who she felt were laughing at her, and several of the judges.
The judges?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Betty looked at it like it was a celebration, like a thank you for helping me fuck over my crazy wife party. You know?
What it is. I mean, it could be both. You're
Yeah.
insane and we're going to celebrate you.
Well, she went and bought a gun.
As one
Surprised
does.
it took her this long.
Yeah,
I know,
as
right?
one does. Yeah. She went and bought a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver and 3 boxes of ammunition.
3 boxes.
Yeah. So in the store, like, they have the gun purchasing side and then they have the range so you can shoot
Like
the gun. Yeah, that
test
you
it
and
out.
make sure you want to buy it, right?
It's so much fun.
Yeah. So she took that gun straight across the hall to the range,
Yes.
right then and there, and she shot an entire box of bullets.
It
I
doesn't
see
take
what you're
that long.
saying. Okay, so
But I get it.
But that was the rate, like, that was her going hard on it there. And so then, the waiting period, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So she came back to pick it up. And when she left the store, she doesn't remember how or if she asked for it or if she loaded it or if the guy from the store loaded it or
I don't.
what kind of bullets they were. She doesn't recall. But somehow she left with that gun loaded full of Hydra shock bullets. Bree, do you know anything about Hydra shock bullets?
As a matter of fact, I do. So, part of Bree's forensic briefs.
Let me get out of here with you.
Okay, so the ammunition that Betty had loaded in that gun has a bit of a history. So, specifically, the infamous 1986 Miami shootout. This was a bank robbery that turned into a fiery shootout between the robbers and FBI agents. So, during which one of the robbers, Michael Platt, was shot. A hollow point bullet, which is the standard at that time for FBI service revolvers, hit Platt in the arm. It then entered his chest cavity and stopped just short of his heart. So this allowed Platt to, although he was mortally wounded, he was still able to remain in that fight. As a result, 2 FBI agents were murdered and 5 more were injured. So after this, a custom engineered ammunition was created, the Federal Hydroshock bullet. It's a highly specialized type of jacketed hollow point gun ammunition designed to meet strict FBI ballistic standards. So, unlike traditional hollow points that feature an empty cavity, Hydroshock bullets use a patented center post design. The center post is a solid lead post that sits directly in the center of the hollow point cavity. And while traditional hollow points, they just have this hollow cavity at the nose. So instead of being closed off, you can look right into the tip of the bullet. It directs fluid into the cavity upon impact, and that forces the bullet to then expand uniformly.
Wow.
So while traditional hollow points rely on a hydraulic pressure force for the bullet to move outward, this new center post and the fluid in that cavity changes the expansion rate. So it can be relied on, and it's higher quality. So next is the notched jacket of this bullet. It's an outer copper jacket with a distinct notches or serration that control how the bullet peels back upon entry, and it like mushrooms out rather than staying intact. There's the non-bonded core, which is a lead core. It's not molecularly fused to the jacket, so it allows for a quick, dramatic entry transfer upon hitting a soft target, namely body tissue. So prior to the hollow point bullet becoming the standard, the traditional ammunition of choice for FBI service revolvers was the full metal jacket. So the now I'm understanding this, right?
Yes.
Movies and whatnot. So the main flaw of this bullet was that it wasn't designed to expand upon impact, and that caused the bullets to just penetrate either too deeply, or they would do a through and through, which rather than stopping once they hit a soft tissue, they would go right through the person, oftentimes injuring an innocent bystander behind them or somebody else that is trying to be protected.
Right.
The standard hollow point bullets were designed with expansion in mind. The design flaw, though, was when they hit heavy clothing like denim or leather, that fabric would sometimes clog that cavity, and it would turn it into a solid bullet that over penetrates without expanding.
That makes sense.
Yes. Or in some cases, they would expand too quickly and they couldn't penetrate deeply enough. The Hydroshock center, that post, prevents this clogging. It uses hydraulic pressure of fluid entry to force the bullet walls outward, ensuring predictable expansion and stopping power while reducing the risk of hitting bystanders behind the target.
Okay.
So,
basically that, but we don't know how those how did those amazing bullets get put in this gun? I don't know. I didn't ask for those bullets. I don't even know. How would those get? I don't know. I'm not sure. That was her response. But I do believe she kept referring to them as the good bullets. Yeah.
Okay.
oh my gosh. I mean, they are.
She was
As we now know.
Designed with quality in mind.
Yes. All right. So April 1989, Dan and Linda get married. Okay.
Isn't that the month?
Yeah. They got married in the same month as Dan and Betty got married.
Wow.
So
There were 11 other months they could have chosen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan and Linda did hire security guards for their wedding.
For sure.
The wedding was at the house.
That's probably
They had the wedding at the Marston Hills house. So, I mean, she's already vandal. Like, why wouldn't you come on this day, you know? So they hired security guards. Linda actually wanted Dan to wear a bulletproof vest.
Wow.
You know, that could be all helped if they didn't have the wedding at their house.
Yeah.
But he did not wear a bulletproof
Silly
vest.
gooses.
Because he's on the mindset of like, not she's not going to do it. You're not going to kill the golden goose. What are you going to do for money? You know, that was his mind state. So he did not. But they did have a special like security guard from the team park outside of Betty's house, and he was required to follow her every move that day.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but also one of Betty's friends, Helen Picard, stayed with her throughout the day for support. But realistically, she had put together a beeper warning system with one of the guests in case Betty were to go there.
Okay.
Where's that straitjacket at?
But Betty never did. She didn't go.
Oh,
Okay.
But, you know, while she didn't go, her anger just festered and intensified because now Linda wasn't just Linda Kolkina. She was Mrs. Daniel Broderick. And that's who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So September of 1989, for the very first time in years, Betty had felt hopeful because another custody battle was in full swing, and she had thought that she was going to get the boys for the school year. But she was denied again. And the boys would remain with Dan.
As they should.
And now the answering machine once again featured Linda's voice because
Well,
now it was
it's
her
her
legal right.
house.
Yeah. The house belonged to Linda, and so did the answering machine.
Oh my gosh.
So Betty decided defeatistly that she doesn't need this big house if she doesn't have any kids, right?
I mean, it's true.
Yeah. What is she doing? I'm not getting the kids for the school year. I was going to hold out, whatever. But so she's like, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever, you know? So she decides that she is going to purchase a 2-bedroom condo in La Jolla
Okay.
and put Calle de Cielo on the market. It's now October 1989. Friends at this point notice dramatic changes in her appearance and in her demeanor. She was very depressed. Like, again, she had just like that defeat. It's like almost defeatist after getting that final, like, last.
Someone else is raising her kids and married to her husband. Holy shit.
Yeah. She was stress eating and overweight. She constantly looked disheveled. And this is a woman who looked put together at all times prior. They would describe her as looking exhausted and old. Then came the annual Notre Dame football game.
Oh, we circled back.
The same tradition that had connected Betty and Dan from the beginning and for decades after.
She didn't even go to Notre Dame.
But they went every year.
She doesn't even go here.
Yeah. But they did go. I mean, it's a Broderick tradition
Yeah,
more so.
got
So
it.
they went every single year. Other people in the Broderick family went to Notre Dame prior to him, so it was a tradition in their
Yeah.
family. So Dan had previously attended for years with Betty and the children, and now this year Dan and Linda would attend, and also he flew the children out. And for the first time in a long time, a lot of the other Broderick family was also going. So it's going to be like one of the big ones, you know? And of course, Betty did not. And for her, it felt like she was cut out, you know? And she was upset that the fake Mrs. Broderick would be there living her life, basically. So, Friday, November 3rd, 1989.
Okay.
A letter arrives in the mail informing her that the custody hearings from this point would be postponed indefinitely
Okay.
because Dan was resisting. She didn't read the whole legal document. She
Why
just
would she?
skimmed it and got like the basic
gist
gist.
of it.
Yeah.
Because that's how you read legal
Right.
documents.
But again, at least she skimmed this one. She wasn't reading half of the
That's
other
true.
ones.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, she's upset, you know, but she goes on to continue her day. Lee came over, and the two of them went shopping together, and then it was Betty's weekend with the boys, so she picked them up from school.
The daughters are adults now.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So she picked the boys up from school, and then they spent Friday night attending a football game at Danny's high school,
Okay.
and then they went to dinner in Old Town.
Okay.
So, seems like, although upset, pretty normal, you know, day.
Well, she's getting to see her kids.
Yeah,
That's
she's that's good. It's a good thing.
yeah.
Saturday, November 4th, 1989. Helen Picard stopped by the condo that morning, and she later testified that Betty seemed extremely agitated due to some legal document that she'd received.
Okay.
But Betty took the boys to their soccer game. Then they went grocery shopping. And then Betty cooked dinner for the boys at the Calle de Cielo house because they still had it. It hasn't been sold yet. And when she had the boys, she did like to stay at the house because it was just more comfortable and bigger. And then they watched television and they went to bed around 9:30.
Okay.
But Betty would later claim she remembered none of this. According to her, she had no recollection of cooking dinner or watching TV, and that she was in bed by 6. So I don't know.
How early did they eat dinner? I mean, come
I go to
on.
bed at 6.
Yeah.
Gee, like for real.
But like you have the boys, right? You're going to bed at 6 o'clock.
That's true.
What are they doing? Sunday,
Okay.
November 5th,
Okay.
1989. Okay.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. All right. Chargers-Eagles game.
I was
I was thinking
it's my brother's birthday.
I was going to say a day that lives in infamy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even though it's not.
remember
Just
the 5th of November.
Well,
Guy Fawkes Day.
many
Guy
do,
Fawkes Day.
as the massive upset that took place in the Chargers-Eagles game in favor of the Chargers, 20-17. Okay, the Chargers were 3-6, and the Eagles were 6-3, so they were not expected to win that game. But 49-yard field goal by Chris Barr with 4 seconds remaining took it.
That's
No
exactly what I was
way.
thinking.
Oh
How
my
did you
God.
know?
All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So Sunday, November 5th, 1989. Before sunrise, Betty awoke. 13-year-old Danny was asleep. 10-year-old Rhett was asleep.
And of course, she woke up before sunrise. Bitch fell asleep at 6
Apparently,
o'clock.
if she fell asleep at 6. Yeah. So she went down to the kitchen and she picked up a newspaper. But out of the corner of her eye, she saw the legal letter.
Okay.
Oh,
And this time, she decided to read it word for word. She said the letter was warning her that Dan was filing for contempt charges again because she had been leaving messages for the boys, calling Dan and Linda names, and using vulgar language again, and another jail sentence will be imposed. But what it actually said was that if she didn't cease and desist on the messages, then they would file contempt charges and a jail sentence could be imposed.
Okay. So it was a warning letter.
Yes. But along with the custody hearing being pushed off and more jail time looming, just seemed to Betty like she was making no headway on getting the boys back, and there was no end in sight to this circle of hell that she was living in. She's obviously already been depressed. Obviously, she's, had this defeatist mode. So she decided to give up.
this woman is so dramatic.
Very, always, yeah.
It's like,
She wrote a suicide note and left it on the kitchen table.
Drama queen.
It read, quote, I can't take this anymore. 3 things I can't take anymore. Number 1, Linda Colkenna, the C word, interfering with what little contact I have with my children. She's been doing it for years. We have litigated continuously. Number 2, the constant threats of court, jail, contempt, fines, etc., which is very scary to me. And no matter what the evidence, I will always lose. Because that's how she felt. It was always stacked. The odds were always stacked against her with Dan.
well, yeah, dude, you're not subtle.
Yeah. Number 3, them constantly insinuating I'm crazy. You see, the last sentence of that legal letter said, quote, her emotional disturbance and mental disease are not improving, unquote. But then, instead of unaliving herself there in the kitchen, she got in the car. and started driving.
I would like to point out real quick before we move too far past it.
Mm-hmm.
When she mentioned Linda, she maiden named her instead of, she could have just said Linda.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
had to put her maiden name.
She
Right.
would never refer to her as
but she
Linda
could
Broderick.
have just said Linda.
Yeah.
But she had to put the maiden name in there
100%.
to reiterate.
It's all.
Yeah.
It's one. It's Linda Colkenna the C. It's it's literally it's. There's
That's
no
her name.
spaces. It's one word. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
yes,
she gets
exactly.
in the
Yeah.
car. Sorry.
It's 5 a.m.
And this is Monday morning now?
No, it's Sunday.
Oh, this is still Sunday morning.
because she was. It was.
Okay.
She woke up
That's
before
right.
the
Saturday
sunrise.
night she
Why
went
don't
to
you get
bed.
up,
Yeah.
have some coffee, and take your medicine? Oh my gosh.
So it's 5 a.m. At some point on this drive, she'd made a decision. Okay. But did she, or did she make the decision days earlier when she took Kim's keys? We'll find out. This key ring of Kim's contained the keys to Dan and Linda's house.
Yes.
Kim would even tell her that they'd gone missing and they would look for them. And she acted like she didn't know anything about it. So again, made the day of, or the day she took the keys, or the day she bought the gun.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Before she bought the gun.
Because she remembers getting in the car to unalive herself at the beach. That's where she was headed. But somehow she arrived at the Marston Hills home. But she grabbed the keys before she left.
Maybe the
To
keys
go to the
were
beach.
lost inside of the car, and she just happened upon
Oh,
them.
God, here they are.
Yes.
Crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Trying low for these. What we do know is she chose to take that gun out of her purse and carry it inside. She chose not to use the front door, even though she had a key. You see, Dan and Linda's bedroom was directly at the top of the stairs and might have woken him up. So she chose to walk around the house and enter through the back door. When you open the back door, on your right is a kitchen. She walked through the kitchen, and then she would take a hard left down the hallway. And then she had to go towards the front door and up the stairs, okay? And at the top of the stairs, as I mentioned before, is the door to Dan and Linda's bedroom. But she saw that and she decided not to enter because if she entered through the front, that first one, she would be head on. Okay. So she chose to go into the second door to the bedroom, which is actually through the TV room. She goes in there and there she is. This put her right next to Linda's side of the bed. According to Betty, Linda woke up and yelled, "Call the police."
How freaking scary.
Right?
Yeah. And Dan reaches for the phone on the nightstand. And without hesitation, Betty opened fire.
Wow.
She fired her revolver 5 times. Bree, do you know where those bullets landed?
I might just. Okay, so the first bullet struck Linda in the chest, and the bullet went completely through her body and into the bed underneath her. The second struck Dan in the middle of his back, and he fell to the floor. The next shot went right into the wall. It seems she thought he might stand up, and that shot would have gotten him directly in his chest. But it did not. Linda attempts to roll away. So Betty fired twice more. One missed and went right past Linda's head into the nightstand. The last one was right on target, hitting Linda directly in the back of the head.
Wow.
5
Wild.
shots. 5 shots is all it took. Those hydroshock bullets did their job.
Well, at this point, she realizes that Dan is still alive. The wound had gone into his chest, as you described, and it pierced his lung. But he still struggled toward the telephone. Betty later, in her own words, said that she could hear him gurgling in his own blood. She walked around the bed, grabbed the telephone, and ripped it from the wall. Again, in her own words, so he couldn't save himself. So there's also another version of this story that's less widely told. Betty claims that she has no recollection of what happened when she walked into that bedroom. She claimed that she went there to just talk to them.
With a gun?
With a gun. Yeah,
At
why
5 in
not?
the morning.
Yeah, right? While they're sleeping?
Yes. At 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
Nobody's talking
Yeah.
to anybody at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Then she claimed that she went there to unalive herself in front of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she definitely mentioned several times that she only brought the gun because she thought it would make Dan finally listen to her if she had it. But ultimately, she doesn't have any recollection of what happened in that room after that gun went off, and it was just an explosion. She doesn't recollect pulling the trigger 5 times because this is a revolver. You know, you have to pull the trigger each time.
I know, I have one.
Yeah. But in another cited story, but I think people like to recall it because it's more dramatic. Mm-hmm. She did say that when she walked around the bed, he said to her, "Okay, you shot me. I'm dead." And then she ripped the phone from the wall. But for me, I'm not really, I mean, it seems like that's kind of like one or the other, because if you're gurgling in your
I
own
was just going to
blood,
say he can't.
talk. But I guess maybe not medically impossible, but
No, he's drowning.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
he's drowning.
but he's still reaching for the phone if he's gurgling in his own blood. Either story, he's still reaching for the phone. So if he's gurgling, maybe he could talk, and he intended to talk when he called 911.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know. But also that one is less of a, and that one was not in the court case. That's from some other different cited research that I did.
But she still recollects pulling the phone from the
Yeah,
wall.
pulling the phone from the wall.
So that's
ripping
when she
it out.
snapped too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she dumps the phone at the top of the stairs and leaves. Linda died in bed,
Yeah.
obviously, after that shot to the back of the head. But Dan was left to essentially suffocate in his own blood on the floor, which could have taken anywhere from a few minutes to half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So, after this, Betty drove to a gas station in Claremont and used a payphone to call her daughter, Lee.
Gotta love those payphones.
Yeah, as we know. She told Lee what she'd done and said she needed to come over. And Lee said, "Yes, come."
The cops will be waiting for you when you get here, Mom.
So she said that she called Lee and wanted to go to Lee's house specifically because she was worried that Dan was still coming after her. She didn't think that Dan was down and dead. She thought that he was on the chase and that Dan was gonna come and get her. Okay. So she said that she called Lee and went there because Dan didn't know where Lee lived. But in reality, nobody knew where Lee lived. So except for her.
Except for Betty?
Except for Betty. So basically, I another small, Joey speculates wildly. I think she probably went to Lee's because she knew that if people were to hear that Betty did this, because she made several other phone calls to tell people about it, that they wouldn't know where to send her to go get her because nobody else knew where Lee lived. So the police couldn't go there.
Got it.
Okay.
You
Got
know?
it. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it seems right.
Yeah. Thank you. But basically, again, yeah, she did call a couple of other friends and told them what she had done also. I killed the bastard, that kind of stuff. So she goes to Lee's, and when she got there, I guess somewhere on the drive between the payphone and Lee's house, she was resolved. She instructed Lee to go to the Calle de Cielo house and be with the boys because at this point, she's like, well, if any of these other people that I've called and told did in fact call the police, they could be at the house looking for me, and the boys would be there and scared. So she said, go be with the boys. And then Betty removed all of her jewelry and turned herself into the police.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, there was never any real dispute about who
'cause I'm
killed.
Like, she's calling all these people.
Yeah,
There's
Dan
no
and
way
Linda,
around it
yeah.
at this
And
point.
she was also never in any danger of unaliving herself. Because if she was, she wouldn't be like, oh, let me take my jewelry off and turn myself in. The people that don't care whether they live or die
Yeah.
aren't going to do anything but run
Yeah.
or hide or something, you know?
Yeah.
But turning herself in, it's because she values her own life.
Yeah. She did plead not guilty, though.
I mean, she clearly is insane. So, I mean,
So that would be the question that would dominate the next several years, was why, and was she, you know? Was she a calculating murderer, or was she a woman who had finally snapped after years of emotional warfare?
No, I'm not buying it.
yes to both.
Let's see what the jury says.
Yes.
Betty's murder trial began in 1990, and prosecutors painted a picture of premeditation. They reminded the jurors about the years of threats,
Yep.
the hundreds of phone messages, the vandalism, the restraining orders,
Violated restraining orders.
the car through the front door,
Oh, I forgot about this.
the gun purchase months before the murders, and the fact that Betty had taken Kim's keys days earlier. The prosecution argued this wasn't a sudden act, and it was the final step in a years-long plan.
Okay.
The defense told a different story. They argued Betty had been psychologically destroyed, humiliated, manipulated, and discarded. They described a woman pushed beyond her limits by an affair, a bitter divorce, custody battles, and a legal system she believed was stacked against her.
It's all
Yeah.
true. It's all true.
Yeah. So, after weeks of testimony, trust me, the jury the jury could not agree.
Yeah.
They were deadlocked,
Wow.
hung 10-2.
Really?
Yeah. So there would be no verdict, and we would go again. The second trial began in 1991. This time, prosecutors narrowed their focus and concentrated on intent.
Okay.
The gun, the key, the planning, the phone ripped from the wall,
Yeah.
the months of escalating threats, and jurors here heard how Betty had repeatedly talked about killing Dan and Linda. Their friends testified that
Yeah.
they had been concerned. And the defense against argued that Betty's emotional state had deteriorated to the point that she was no longer thinking rationally. But this jury reached a decision, and Betty was found guilty on 2 counts of second-degree murder.
Okay. Okay.
The judge sentenced Betty Broderick to 32 years to life in prison
Okay.
when she was 43 years old. Betty settled into prison life, and over the years, she gave interviews and maintained that she had been treated unfairly. She continued to argue that Dan manipulated both the legal system and the people around him. While she often acknowledged pulling the trigger, many critics felt she never fully accepted responsibility for the murders themselves. Rachel, do you have anything to add here by any chance?
I do have some fun facts for you.
Do you?
I do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Rachel's fun facts.
Some fun facts for you. Well, starting in February of '85, right after their initial separation, Betty actually started a relationship with a man named Bradley Wright.
Get out.
Yeah, so while all these threats, all these showing up at the house, these voicemails. She's
You mean somebody wanted to date this
Yeah,
woman?
right.
Yeah.
The whole time.
yeah.
Like,
The whole time?
Yes.
look it, and
The whole time?
I can't get a date.
Oh, no.
So
Okay.
Brad was a businessman who owned a fencing company, and he was 6 years younger than Betty.
Okay.
So that morning that she pulled those triggers, and how you mentioned that she called her daughter Lee and she called several other people, one of those people called Brad.
Okay.
Okay.
So he, along with a family friend, actually went to the house and climbed through the window and saw the bodies.
Wow.
Yeah. And the wound that Dan suffered was strikingly similar to the same that almost killed President Ronald Reagan. However, because Ronald Reagan was able to get to the surgeons in time, he was saved. But Dan had no phone. He couldn't.
It was ripped from the
He
wall.
didn't get that chance.
Yeah.
So now, Brad has definitely spent decades trying to distance himself from this situation. He did, however, stay in contact with Betty while she was in prison and put money on her, like financial support for her, like on her commissary, and financial support to her kids.
Yeah, she was probably flying him everywhere, going on those vacations.
They were probably going on those trips together.
Yeah.
They did. I knew that.
So October 2020, Brad mistakenly stopped paying for the storage fee. So the storage unit, the place auctioned off stuff that was, the possessions inside the storage unit.
Oh my gosh, we should see if we can get some or
And
any of those
among
things.
those possessions were love letters from Betty from 2003 to 2006.
Oh, so in
So
prison.
those were auctioned, yeah.
2003 to 2006, dude. That's so far.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to Dan. It was to
No, they were to Brad. They were to
Yeah,
Brad.
Brad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And between the first and second trial, after that mistrial and then, the second one, there was reportedly some jailhouse misconduct. And
What?
I
Wait,
clutch
what
my
is
pearls.
Wait a minute. What does misconduct mean?
well, it is alleged that she attacked 3 of the guards and smeared feces all over herself for them to clean up.
Okay.
Mrs. Broderick.
Yeah.
So
She's just really she's going
try to
full.
tell me she's not crazy.
Yeah. She's getting full into it there. That's for
Oh
sure.
Gosh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So it didn't stop.
Yeah.
It
No.
didn't. It didn't.
She's
stop.
crazy.
Yeah.
She is.
Dan was not a good
crazy.
person, but she's 100% responsible.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
way around it.
I
don't-
agree
don't-
completely.
Yeah.
But bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, as the years passed, Betty became eligible for parole.
Oh.
Yeah. But the hearings would reignite old wounds, and family members were once again asked to revisit the worst period of their lives. And some of the children supported her release, while others
I was
opposed
gonna
it.
ask what they thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like half and half.
Okay.
Parole boards repeatedly focused on one question. Did Betty really understand what she had done? Or was she still blaming everyone else for her actions?
Yeah, because don't you have
I
to
think it's the
admit
latter.
guilt to the parole board? You have to take responsibility for whatever it is that you've done.
Again and again, concerns were raised that she remained focused on Dan's behavior rather than her own decisions. So parole was denied, then denied again, and again.
Good.
For decades, Betty Broderick remained one of America's most famous female inmates. She spent more than 35 years in prison.
Oh.
Wow.
Then,
I didn't realize it was that long.
on May 8th, 2026, just over a
Last
month ago,
Yeah.
Betty Broderick died while serving her sentence, and she was 78 years old.
Wow.
Didn't have to be.
With her death, a marriage that began with a borrowed pen at a college football party in 1965 ended as one of the most infamous true crime cases in American history. But the debate never did,
Yeah, no.
as we've been debating it multiple times. Nearly 4 decades after the murders, people still argue about Betty Broderick. Again, destroyed by betrayal, victim of a system that favored wealth, status, and power, or simply a murderer who refused to let go.
I'm going with option 3. That's my vote. You can't change my mind.
The answer depends largely on who's telling the story. And with that, it's time to raise your glasses.
Uh-oh. Sorry for my perfect vision.
Rude. Offense. You're lucky I have these on and I can see you.
So there were many adaptations of the Betty Broderick story made over the years. Immediately after the murders and during the trials, the case dominated national television. Betty appeared or was discussed on shows including The Oprah Winfrey Show,
Oh my gosh.
2020, Hard Copy.
Yes. Hard copy.
Yeah. In 1991, an episode of Law & Order was partially inspired by the Broderick murders and trial.
Okay.
In 1992, the first true crime book was written called Hell Hath No Fury
I've wanted to say that like 5 times during this whole show and I didn't, and that's pretty funny.
by Brenna Tubman. The first television movie called A Woman Scorned, the Betty Broderick story, premiered on March 1st of 1992, starring Meredith Baxter as Betty. And this was the version that cemented the case in American pop culture. Meredith Baxter was nominated for an Emmy for her portrayal of Betty.
On the Lifetime true story.
November 1992, the sequel to that movie, Her Final Fury, Betty
Wait.
Broderick, The Last Chapter.
Final Fury. Oh my
I
god.
gotta watch these
This
movies.
makes me so happy. I really
Yeah.
do believe that we should watch these
Yes.
movies.
That premiered on November 1st of 1992.
Okay.
And this focused on the murders and the trials. And that also starred Meredith Baxter.
And then the final, not without my fury.
In 1993, another book, Until the 12th of Never, The Deadly Divorce of Dan and Betty Broderick by Bella Stumbo came out, and she had extensive access to Betty in prison. So
Oh, okay.
that was a
Okay.
major one.
I just see. Do you guys see? Have you guys seen Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, of course.
It's
So,
been a long time.
Like
Yeah.
literally, all I envision for Betty Broderick is sitting around talking about her husband. Like she goes, "I want to talk about Madeline Ashton," and everybody's flipping out because that's how this woman is.
That's like exactly how I would probably describe it.
Yeah.
Another major book published that same year was called Forsaking All Others, The Real Betty Broderick Story by Loretta Schwartz Noble. And then in 2015, Betty's own book came out
Oh,
called Telling on Myself, a self-published memoir, obviously, in which Betty told her version of events, which
I kind of want to
I've
read
already-
it.
yeah.
I'm not
already
buying
experienced
it, but I kind
it.
of want to read it.
yeah. And then 2017, a television documentary episode of Murder Made Me Famous. And then in 2018, a podcast came out of My Favorite Murder.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 103, they told this story on a live podcast in front of a live studio audience in San Diego.
oh.
Actually,
I probably
like,
listened to that because I used to listen to My Favorite Murder.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never had listened to that podcast before, and I did listen to this one. And honestly, like, it's awesome. You should definitely check it out. And then spring 2020, another podcast called It Was Simple, The Betty Broderick Murders. This is arguably the best podcast source on the case till now. But I will say I did listen to that one like 8 times. It's 4 episodes, I believe.
Okay.
And they're like 30-ish minute long.
Oh, okay.
But it is very good also. It actually includes actual interviews, court recordings, family perspectives, and extensive original reporting on the case.
Oh, nice.
Then June and July of 2020, the biggest modern adaptation, which we already discussed in part 1 of this, but we will bring it up again. Dirty John season 2, the Betty Broderick story. This starred Amanda Peet as Betty.
Okay.
And Christian Slater as Dan.
Okay.
Yes, I remember this.
Like-
All of the
Incredible casting.
Yeah.
all the actors.
Like-
Do we know who played Linda?
I do not.
Okay.
Probably Claire Danes.
But no, it was not. I would know.
I would not be watching it.
If Angela Chase is playing Linda Colcana, like I would know. But it's so good. It's really, really good. And then in July of 2020, obviously, of course, an episode of Snapped. And
do
then
like Snapped.
yes,
I do
yeah.
love Snap.
Everybody loves Snapped. And then in 2023, another book came out called She Gave Her Pearls, and that was written by Betty's daughter Kim.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
would read that one.
Yeah. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen,
Conclusion of our first 2-part episode.
and our
And
first
our
season.
Yes, our season finale.
Yay. That was awesome.
That
It
was.
really was.
Thanks, you guys, for
Yes.
You know,
appeasing me.
We didn't bring is our champagne.
Oh yeah, we didn't bring our champagne.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
okay.
free. It was free drink.
Yeah.
What were we saying it was
Free
called?
drink day.
Free drink. It's not
Free
Friday.
Drink, free
No, we said free drink.
I don't know. We called it something cool, and then we can't
It's
remember.
been a long day.
It really
It's been
has.
a really
It
long
really,
day. The
really
podcast
has.
get
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
7 hours.
7 hours.
7
yeah,
and a half
7
hours.
and a half hours. But it was worth it. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Yes.
it was really
a
fun.
really great show.
And it was a good story. I did my best
You
to
did
do what I could.
fantastic.
you did an amazing job.
I know like a lot of podcasts on this are much shorter, but I mean I watched that trial,
But you
man.
were
I had
right.
to include it.
You couldn't cut a lot of
I
this out.
it's
No.
just too much because
Yeah.
how are you gonna know what she like? You know where how she got there? You know?
Yeah.
I guess in a way.
I want that dude. What is her boyfriend's name? Brad.
Yeah.
Where's his book?
I know.
From
yeah.
the inside.
Oh.
He
I forgot to mention I have another little fun thing. Not really like that big of a thing, but because I watched the trial, Brad was there. You know, he did testify in the trial, but he was also in the audience.
the audience.
What is it called? I don't know. He was in the
was a
courtroom.
spectator.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he sat with her daughters the whole time, and they were still together essentially during this time because they kept dating all the way through her conviction. And so
wrong with
technically,
that guy?
I know, yeah. So technically, they were still together, and during a point where Brad got brought up in the testimony, and Betty's on the stand. These are her words about Brad. She basically still like somewhat like diminished their relationship, and
That's awful.
the
He's sitting there supporting her.
the camera cuts to him sitting with her daughters, and there's a point where it says that she referred to him as her puppy,
Ew.
and they laughed, all three of them, and then the daughters like pet his head like a puppy.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
The humiliation.
Goodbye,
Not
goodbye.
the head
Yeah.
pat.
Yeah,
Bye.
Well, I mean,
She is something.
he was comfortable with his role because why would somebody that was self-respecting stay in a relationship with a woman that's fighting to get back into
Yeah.
another relationship?
A failed
completely
marriage.
emotionally still charged
toxic
on
failed
another,
Yeah.
relationship. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a little bit funny though.
Yeah.
I mean, sad.
It's,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
sad, but like, he didn't have to be there.
Right.
He
Yeah,
knows
no.
who she is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, that's Betty.
Betty.
Well, are we ready to close the tab on this season?
Yes. Till next time.
Until next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, till next season.
Oh.
Don't
Don't get 86.